got one. Ooh.
There you go.
Hold up.
So you can hear him.
Let me get this. This guy. So he's hissing.
We'll just throw you in the deep end today. She's all right. She's not going to hurt you. Just kind of put her up and around. And now you've held a 13-foot retic.
Oh, my.
Hello, my name's Ian. We're out here in Acworth, Georgia. Glade Road. Come out and check out the store for some cool reptiles. So this is a water monitor. Specifically, it's a sulfur water monitor.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. He's really friendly.
Let me try him.
There's lots of localities of these guys, right? So this guy is specifically from the Javan Islands in Indo. And they kind of stay a little smaller. This guy's a 4 to 5 foot water monitor. Water monitors can reach up to 8-9 feet, being the third largest lizard in the world.
And what does he eat?
So he's a carnivore. He's going to eat
so chicken,
rabbits, beef, whatever you want to feed it.
Okay.
They can when they're older. Mostly, in captivity, we're going to feed them mice and, rats, chicken, turkey, eggs.
How often does he eat?
So he eats every other day.
Okay, every other day.
So we feed him something every other day.
Okay, that's cool.
They grow really, really fast. My personal sulfurs that we breed at our breeding facility, the biggest male, he grew 5 feet in the first year.
Wow.
So yeah, he's very large.
So how old is this guy?
So he's about 7 months old now.
7 months. So he's still got a lot of growing to go.
He's still got a lot to go.
But you do have more monitors here.
Absolutely, we got tons of monitors.
Let's check out some bigger ones.
Okay, I've got a couple here. So this is Pork Chop. He's one of our shop favorites, right? So he's a black throat monitor. Super, super friendly. You can pet all over him. He's really tame. I've had him since he was a baby.
He's a black throat monitor?
He's a black throat monitor,
Why is it called? Does he have a black throat?
So actually, yeah, if you look right underneath his throat, he's going to come out because he's friendly. His throat is black. You see that?
Okay, I see.
Yeah. His nails are really, really sharp.
It feels like...
Yeah. He's friendly.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Those nails are sharp.
Yeah, they are sharp.
This is an African species, so they come from Tanzania.
Okay.
More of a deserty type.
How is his diet?
So he's also a carnivore.
Chicken and beef and everything?
Same thing as the sulfur monitor, absolutely. Yeah. So he's a rodent diet. He'll also do eggs, chicken, turkey, things like that. These guys get a little beefier though. So where the water monitors get kind of long, he's only going to be 5-6 foot, but he's going to be huge, very big around.
So when it comes to monitors, about how big is this guy versus other monitors? Is he one of the biggest types?
He's one of the larger types, just mass-wise, because of how bulky they get. Length-wise, he's on the larger side. He's going to be around that 5 to 6 foot range. This being a male, he's going to be a little larger. So
the husbandry is pretty much the same for all of them.
Pretty close. He doesn't have to have as high humidity as the water monitors do. Water monitors, your humidities are 70% or higher. These guys, you don't have to have as much humidity for them.
For somebody who's going to get a monitor, what would be the first monitor you would suggest getting? Would you suggest starting out with the black throat monitor?
So they're one of the easier ones to tame down, yeah.
Okay.
They're friendlier. If I were going to start with a monitor, though, I would probably say a Quince monitor. Ackie monitor, something like that would be ideal, just because they don't get as big. A lot of the issues with monitors are going to be the requirements to keep their enclosures. So these guys require a huge space. So you're going to be like a 10 by 12 room for one of these guys.
Oh,
and a
wow.
lot of the average person, doesn't have that type of space to provide for these guys. But so that being said, one of your smaller dwarf species monitors, or one that gets around that 4 foot range, something like that, would be a little easier to start with, and then you kind of ease your way up into your larger species. He is definitely one of the coolest that we have here. This is going to be our iguanas, right? And I want to show you a special one that I enjoy a lot. This is one of our albino iguanas.
Yeah, he's definitely light skinned.
Yeah, so she's got a lot of pink color to her. And this one was specifically bred by Ty Parks, if some of you guys know who he is. He's down in Florida. He's doing Iguana Land.
Okay.
and we got her from an individual who bought from him.
Temperament?
So iguanas, when they start out as babies, they're a little flighty, right? They're kind of a slow-growing animal. They don't grow very fast. Usually 4 or 5 years, they'll be somewhere around this size. But as a baby, they're going to be spazzy, crazy, run away from you, slap you with their tail. Like
Iguanas can drop their tail, right?
They can, and they can regrow, yeah. Okay. And they regenerate their tails. But if you have the time for one and put in a lot of time and effort handling them and calming them down, taming them down, they do phenomenal as pets. As they get older, they mellow out the more you work with them.
I know with snakes, like the female ones get bigger. Is that the same with iguanas?
So it's the opposite on most of your lizard species.
Okay.
So your monitors, your iguanas, things like that, the males are larger than the females.
Would you let me pet her?
Yeah, you can even hold her if you want. She's really, really friendly. She's not just support her feet. Otherwise, she'll flail around. You support her feet, and then they feel comfortable with you.
There you go.
So this is an albino iguana. So one of the key features about an albino iguana is they are, I would say, at least 70% blind. Pretty much all of them are like that, right?
Oh, really?
So they're a little more trusting than like your normal iguanas because they can't really see to run away from you anyway. Most of them are going to be really friendly. At least everyone that I've encountered are.
I like this color. It's kind of like a creamsicle orange.
Yep.
You know, cream soda. Her eyes look really cool too. Now, are iguanas nocturnal?
No.
Daytime?
They come out through the day.
Anytime?
Yeah, anytime pretty much. You'll see them in Florida all the time. If you ever go down South Florida, Mexico, you're going to see iguanas. Right now, you see them all falling out of the trees down in Florida. It's on the news. So yeah. They get too cold. They fall out of the tree. They warm up, and then they'll take off running. It's pretty wild.
So they're pretty hardy animals. Like, how is their typical like husbandry like compared to monitors or any other lizard?
So the thing about iguanas, you're going to mimic basically Florida weather, right? Okay. So hot. They like it really, really hot, humid. You know, they're vegetarians too, so that's a little different than a monitor. They're going to eat your fruits and veggies versus being carnivores. So basically, we feed them all your leafy greens. They like apples, bananas, pretty much any fruit.
Apples,
yeah.
Okay. Can you keep more than one? Like, how is it? Like, how are they with other iguanas? Like, interacting with each other? Do they play? I know lizards are a little bit more tapped into snakes.
So they don't really play per se, but they will climb and kind of like stack on top of each other.
Typical lizards.
Yep.
Okay.
You can keep. What I found, you can keep females together and they're fine. When the males reach maturity, you got to separate them because they're going to establish dominance, yeah.
Okay. And then again, what kind of iguana is this one again?
She's an albino iguana, so albino green, basically.
Certain species. Is there a difference in like size and based on the species of iguana?
Not really. They all well, I'll take that back. A lot of iguanas, like your rock iguanas, are going to be different sizes than like your greens. Your greens and rock iguanas are kind of the same size. There are spiny tail iguanas that stay, a lot smaller. But those you're going to find those in Mexico. But pretty much most of your iguanas are going to be 4 foot plus.
Okay. So next time we see, do we count the tail or are we counting the body?
That's including tail.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of your big green iguanas, some of the big males can reach up to 6 feet, including the tail.
It's the first time I ever held an iguana.
She's pretty calm, man. She likes people. So
I like it. So let's check out some more. I know we got some ball pythons. I know that's what everybody wants to see. So
yep, we'll get down to it.
There we go. All right, so let's check out everybody's favorite. We got some cool ball pythons.
Yep. So we just got a bunch of new ones in, about 15, I believe, from Miguel with Always Evolving Pythons.
Okay.
Good friend of mine. We've done business in the past,
Shout
couple
out to Miguel,
couple years.
Evolving Pythons. That's how I found out where North Georgia Exotics was in the first place.
Yep. So we've got several that we can look at. So for example, he's got this pastel calico right here. It's really pretty, actually.
Calico. You can see that calico.
Yeah. So this is one of his babies that he just sent us. You're going to be shy. Come on. Don't be shy.
You said this is a calico
pastel.
He's looking really good.
Yep.
What's the rarest ball python that you got? You got a $30,000 ball python in here, man?
No. No, we don't have the clientele for that yet. Maybe one day. So,
Super Sunset OD 5 gene ball pythons on here?
Nah, unfortunately, no. I would say probably, well, we've got some orange dream pieds, and then I've got a super pastel pied that's real pretty. Those are probably some of my more expensive ones. But nothing, I don't have any balls here that are over $1,000 right now. Now I've got some boas that are in that range.
Okay. So with the ball python, you think it's really the best beginner snake?
Oh, absolutely. They're definitely the most common. There's all kinds of morphs that they have to them. They're very friendly. I mean, will they bite once in a while? Sure. Anything with a mouth can bite you, right?
Yep.
But not likely. You know, they're going to be your most docile, kind of like a piece of furniture.
I don't think I've ever even said it in a video on this channel, but you know, ball pythons get their name
because they ball up when they're scared. If they're uncomfortable or they're scared, they just kind of ball up like this, and they'll hide their little head, see underneath their body like that, and then they'll feel secure. Once they get more comfortable with you, they'll start to adventure out and explore on you. Not a very fast-moving snake, so that's another thing that makes them, you know, one of the better starter snakes for people, because they are slow-moving. They just kind of sit there with you.
You got some other starter snakes? I think you got some milk snakes. I've heard about those.
Some which ones? I'm sorry?
Milk snakes?
Milk snakes? Yep. We've got a little albino Nelson's milk snake here. These guys don't get very big either. He's a tiny little guy, actually, eating on like day-old pinkies. But he's a pretty little guy too. Nice little tongue flicks. These guys aren't really scared of you, you know. They just kind of hang out. A little more active than a ball python too. So
this guy is tiny. He's got little red eyes.
Yep. So not a bad beginner snake. You know, of course, sand boas, they're not bad either. They're only a 2-foot snake that buries in the sand.
He's gonna get like 3 feet, right?
The milk snakes, yeah, they get 3-4 feet, somewhere around there.
Okay. I know you got, what else you got in here?
And here's something that's not very common, right? So I'll show you something that's not common. It's called a Calabar Python. Technically a boa species, which is weird. They call it a python, but it is an African species, much like a sand boa. They just get a little bit bigger. I'm going to just show you a cool little feature of these guys, right? So if you look at their tail and their head, see that? It looks identical.
It does.
Right? So it's kind of weird. So a cool feature of these snakes is that they call these the impenetrable snake, right? So I've never tried it personally, so they say that you can try to stick these with a needle, and a needle won't even go into them. That's how tough they are. They're supposedly the toughest snakes in the world. So it's kind of wild. But what they do is they burrow in the dirt, right? And they'll leave their little tail sticking up out of the dirt as a attraction for a prey, right? So whatever is going to attack them will bite their tail. It doesn't hurt them, and then they come up out of the dirt and wrap their prey up to eat.
Let me see his face.
It's kind of a cool little. That's the tail, right? And then that's the face. The only way you can really tell the difference is the 2 little eyeballs on it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's just a cool little species that people don't know about, but it is actually a pretty easy snake to deal with. Even as wild caught ones, they are friendly. They're just not mean. They don't get very big. That's almost full grown. And they also burrow like a sand boa will.
Okay. What's that one called again?
It's a Calabar Python.
Calabar Python.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You got any black snakes?
I do have some black snakes, but I will show you.
Everybody loves to see a black snake.
Let me grab him real quick.
There we go.
So this is Onyx. He is one of our future breeders in the store. He's specifically an IMG boa, right? But he is bred off of basically a central Central American boa, so a BCI, which are your smaller species of boas. So you got BCCs, BCIs. BCIs typically are around that 5 to 8 foot range. So they stay smaller. You get the rainbow coloring in them. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but he is full of rainbows.
People? What does he eat?
So he eats a small, medium rat every week, once a week.
Every week.
Mm-hmm.
How are they as eaters? Is he a picky eater like a ball python?
Oh, no. No, this guy will probably eat 2 to 3 times a week if you let him.
Okay.
So we've got him. He's going to be paired up probably next year.
Tamed down like that? That guy
So he's super tame, not head shy at all. I've only owned this snake for maybe 6 months now. He came to me from a lady who used to show him to kids like at schools, stuff like that. So they put in the work with him, and I bought him as a. He was a little bit smaller, a little thinner. We fattened him up a little bit, but he was already pretty tame.
Any advice to anybody about taming down their snake, their new snake, or an aggressive snake?
Well, if you have an aggressive snake, obviously you want to tame them down. Using the hook method. You just hook train them until they get used to you touching them and handling them. But I generally like to spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes a day with each animal, taming them down, and that's just basically touching them, getting them used to stimulation.
Yeah, 30 minutes a day.
And you get your
snake bites away.
Yep. I've got another cool species that I'd like to show you. Give me just a minute. We'll put Mr. Onyx up here.
Okay.
All right. So one of the cooler species that we have in our store right now. A lot of people come in and they'll ask me about reticulated pythons, right? I'm not going to show you a retic, but I'm going to show you something that's real similar to one. Specifically because people who usually come in asking about a retic, they've seen it somewhere, and they don't really realize how big they get, right? So when you tell them that that's the largest or longest snake in the world that reaches 20 to 30 feet, they freak out. And they're like, oh, no, never mind. But if you like the way a reticulated python looks and acts, but you don't want that size, there's 2 options, right? You can do a super dwarf retic, which obviously stays a little smaller, or you can do one of my favorites, which is a Timor python. Southeast Asian python. Really cool species. It is a dwarf species of pythons, right?
Oh yeah.
And he is absolutely gorgeous.
That guy looks like Lord Baltimore himself.
Yeah, look at those eyes, right?
So
if you can get his eyes in there.
Yeah.
Amazing little dwarf species of pythons. They got nice coloring, little yellows to them. But it's an alternative to owning a reticulated python that gets large. Similar mannerisms, real friendly guy, but he's got the iridescence in him as well.
He's a great eater too.
Oh, fantastic eater.
I think so. You think it's only ball pythons that have a hard time eating?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but you have hognoses, sand boas sometimes are hard eaters too. So it's not just ball pythons, but a lot of your larger species are going to chow down as much as you will give them.
Let me see if I get his head. Oh yeah, he looks crazy.
So these guys definitely carry the price tag of retic, but in a smaller package, basically. So this is a red bull.
He feels a little different.
Yeah, so he's got killed scales.
Okay.
You can actually... No, he's not going to bite you.
He's not going to bite.
So this is probably the closest thing to... This is non-venomous, but it's the closest thing to a venomous look-wise that you can have here in Georgia.
How big is he going to get?
So they can reach up to 8 feet and kind of stocky. But the head structure is real similar to like what a cobra would look like. They can actually flatten out their muscles in their neck and have almost a hood look like a cobra.
It's got that orange tiger stripes on the tail.
Mm-hmm. Gorgeous, gorgeous snake. And they come in all kinds of colors and patterns too. Very active species. So this is part of the bluebird family.
What is that?
They're called killed scales.
Killed.
And so they're rigid. You can actually feel them.
Let's see. Should we get this good? Ooh, that's a pretty. I like this. I don't which one's my favorite so far. So you say you got some aggressive ones though?
I think we have one that'll give us the defensive mechanism. I'll show it to you, and let's see if we can get him to do it.
Let's get this guy back in here.
We've been working with him to try to tame him down, but he's something.
This is how you deal with an aggressive snake. Right here, my guy Ion is the aggressive snake guru. He whispers the snakes all day, every day. Show us how it's done.
Yep. So my advice on how to deal with an aggressive snake: leave it alone and go the other way. Right? Let's see. Of course, you're not going to do it today.
Oh, we got one. Ooh.
There you go.
Hold up.
So you can hear him.
Let me get this guy. So he's hissing. So how are we going to deal with this? We still going to pick him up, or we're going to just let him hiss and put him away?
Yeah, I don't usually pick them up when they get in their defensive mechanism, just because you don't really want them to strike at you.
Yeah, he looks like he is pissed.
They have a really loud hissing mechanism.
So,
He'll be all right.
Word up.
They usually bluff a lot when they strike. They don't actually bite you. It's just a hit. They'll hit at you, but you see him. He's just making all kinds of racket.
This guy is scary.
Well, they don't stop either. Like, he'll go on. We'll slide him back in the tub, and he'll go on for another 5 or 10 minutes probably.
This guy is pissed. Yeah, we can put him back. So we went ahead and we saved the best for last. What do we got here now?
So this is going to be our largest snake in the store. It's a Motley golden child reticulated python. She's measuring roughly 13 feet.
She's a monster.
She's got a little attitude problem.
Let's pull her out.
Let's pull her out.
The mics are going to be the audio, not the camera. That's good.
I'm going to need help controlling her. So she's got a lot of rainbow iridescent coloring to her. She's not bad once you get her out.
So, what's some cool facts about her? Have you already talked about? Is she the same as the other one?
She's the same as the other retakes. The Motley golden child gene is what gives her this black oil slick appearance. You don't see very many of them that look like her very often. But longest snakes in the world, man. She's just 3 years old now. Don't go back there, Medusa. Come on. But gorgeous, gorgeous snake.
Oh, this is crazy.
Isn't that wild?
This is crazy.
She's very, very strong. So when I clean her enclosure, I've got a friend of mine who's like 3 times my height, or weight. He's a 6-foot guy, and she can get him stuck where he can't move. So any time you're handling one of these guys, I always recommend at least have one other person around that can get them off of you, because they don't mean to hurt you, but it's just such a big animal, and her strength is unreal. You can hold her. We're gonna let you hold her. You ready? Come on, Addie.
I think so.
So stand right here in the middle. Ready?
What do I do?
Come right in the middle. We're going to put her on you.
What?
We'll just throw you in the deep end today. She's all right. She's not going to hurt you. Just kind of put her up and around. And now you've held a 13-foot retic.
Oh, my.
You went from holding your first retic today to a big one.
Yeah, she's pretty tight.
Yep, we'll control her over here. You all right? She's really strong, isn't she? Pretty cool, right? You good now? Yeah. All right. We'll get her off of you.
Ooh, I caught that too. There we go. The beast. The beast.
Come check us out at North Georgia Exotics. We appreciate you watching the video and spending some time with us in our store.
There it is. It's my guy Ion. It's your boy Supreme. Stay tuned for some more videos. We out.